Step 3. Resolving eForm 119 exceptions. This presentation will help walk you through some common exceptions, both warnings and errors, that you may encounter during the Form 119 reconciliation process. Today you will learn the difference between errors and warnings, and how to successfully troubleshoot and resolve exceptions. At this point in the reconciliation process, you have imported your information into eAccess, and upon trying to submit your information, an exception has fired. Though this step may not always occur, if it does, exceptions must be dealt with before you can proceed. In order to see if any exceptions have occurred, you will first need to enter your eForm 119 dashboard. To view the most up-to-date information, it is important you refresh your dashboard before viewing. You can do so by clicking the Refresh button. Please note, this process may take a few minutes before it is updated. If you are logging into eAccess that day for the first time, there is no need to refresh the dashboard, as it will have refreshed overnight. It is particularly important for you to refresh the dashboard before calling client services. This allows us to see the most up-to-date information to better assist you with your questions. Once refreshed, you can click on the eForm 119 year you are working on. Once you've selected a year, you'll be able to see if there are any unresolved exceptions by looking on the right-hand side of the screen. In this example, there are 23 requests that have exceptions. To view the exceptions, select View beside the number. There are two types of exceptions: errors and warnings. Errors cannot be overridden with an explanation. You must correct the data in order for this request to be submitted to OMERS. Warnings can be overridden with an explanation if there is a reason the exception is firing. You must provide this reason to OMERS in the override or correct the data before you proceed. When you view the exceptions, you will see a list of errors and warnings you are receiving. Exceptions are listed with the errors at the top of the page and the warnings at the bottom. The exceptions are generic in that years and numbers, i.e. earnings, will show as X's on the page. In the individual members Form 119s, however, the X's will be replaced with the actual value. The count column indicates how many members encountered the particular exception message. The green pencil indicates where a validation can be overridden in batches. For example, if there was a group of employees that went through a job evaluation that resulted in a significant increase in pay, and these members encountered the exception message where earnings have increased by greater than 20% over the previous year, the batch override can be used to explain this for all members rather than have to individually override each member. Once you've selected the View button, a screen will appear that displays all of the members that have that specific exception. To deal with these individually, you can click on the member's name. There are many exceptions that can fire, but throughout this presentation, we will go through some of the more common ones. First, let's take a look at the following error. Error: this member is not enrolled. Please submit an eForm 102. This exception message tells you that the member is not enrolled in the OMERS plan. Besides this error firing, there are two other ways you can determine if the member is not enrolled. If when you enter the individual Form 119 request, the membership details are blank as seen on the slide, or when you attempt to click on the Financial tab, you get booted out of eAccess. These are all signs the member is not enrolled. To resolve this exception, you must complete an eForm 102 enrolling a member. Before doing so, you should view your submitted requests to ensure that this has not yet already been submitted, as it could be on OMERS' end waiting to be processed. Most eForm 102s process overnight, so once the member is enrolled, you can then proceed to submit the eForm 119. To avoid delays, do not add any additional notes unless absolutely necessary. With enrollments, you want to process this form as they occur. Don't delay the inevitable. The next error we will look at is the service error. This will look something like this. Error. The service you reported for this member from X date to X date is less than the minimum value. Please report the missing service. There are many reasons that this exception could fire. They include a leave period, elimination period, omission period, or disability has not been reported. Incorrect credited service for a reported leave, elimination, or omission period. A member's employment status changed, i.e. CFT to OTCFT or vice versa. Incorrect service reported in the eForm 119. Member terminated employment. Incorrect enrollment date. Or incorrect eligible service top-up for reported leave, elimination, or omission period. Here is a common example of why this error would fire. The member switched from continuous full-time, CFT, to other than continuous full-time, OTCFT, on March 1, 2017. The status change has not yet been reported to OMERS. To view what the member status is currently reported as, you can view the member's membership information in eAccess. Once in the Employment tab of Member Information, you'll be able to see whether a status change has been reported and what the dates are. In this case, the member is CFT, so the change has not yet been reported. To fix the error, you should submit an eForm 106 to change the member's status. To submit the eForm 106, select Requests, create a new request, then eForm 106. This can also be done on the home page under Quick Requests. Most eForm 106s will process overnight. To check to see if the status change has been completed, refer back to the Employment tab of the member's information. In this case, the status change has been completed. The eForm 119 can now be submitted to OMERS, but first the financial data needs to be split. The financial data can be split for each employment period by selecting the orange Split option. When the screen first appears, all data will be on one line for the entire CFT employment period. You will need to change the end date and also modify the contributory earnings, service, PA, and contributions to coincide with the CFT employment period. Then you need to select Add. This will add a second line for the OTCFT employment period. You will then have to add contributory earnings, service, PA, and contributions for the OTCFT period and select Save. You should now be able to submit the 119 without any errors. Another common reason the service warning fires is due to an unreported leave period. In this example, a leave period totaling 0.5 months of scattered days has not yet been reported for 2017. You are attempting to report 11.5 months of credited service via the 2017 eForm 119. Solution: submit an eForm 165A to report the leave period. Don't forget to give the member the election form. To report the leave period to OMERS, you will have to use the eForm 165A. As with the eForm 106, you will select Requests, create a new request, and eForm 165A. Once the leave has been reported and processed by OMERS, it should appear on the right of the eForm 119 data on the eForm 119 request. The eForm 119 can now be submitted to OMERS. If it is not appearing in the eForm 119 request, check the status of the leave period to see if it is outstanding on OMERS' end. In this example, the member last worked on July 9, 2017, but the member's disability has not yet been reported to OMERS. This one looks a little scarier than the others, and often employers leave disabilities until last, as they can be complicated. Please avoid doing this, as delaying the reporting of a disability can cause errors such as this during the eForm 119 process. Here you can see, so far, only 7.26 months of eForm 119 service are being reported for this member. As this member is CFT, we need to account for the rest of the year. In this scenario, the member did not purchase their elimination period. Therefore, you need to submit the eForm 164 for the period of May 7th to September 30th. This will turn into broken service on the member's record. The following steps need to be taken. First, indicate No in the eForm 164 and submit to OMERS. Once complete, you will submit an eForm 143 to report the member's disability. If you do not have medical information, submit an eForm 165A to report a leave period. This will fill the gap while the waiver period is pending. Lastly, if the medical is not received, you will need to submit an eForm 119. The service and earnings on this form must match the eForm 143. Once the leave has been submitted, you can see it now appears in the eForm 119 requests. The reported leave in this scenario include the eForm 164 and eForm 165A. The eForm 119 is now ready to be submitted because total service equals to 12. But what happens if the member elected to purchase the elimination period? The steps are a little different. First, you will delete the eForm 164 from eAccess. You then report contributory earnings, credited service, and contributions in the eForm 143. If you do not have any medical information, submit an eForm 165A to report a leave period. This will fill the gap while the waiver period is pending. Lastly, if medical is not received, you will need to submit an eForm 119. The service and earnings on this form must match the eForm 143. Another common example of why the service error occurs is when a member event has not yet been reported to OMERS. In this example, the member last worked on December 15, 2017, but the member's termination has not yet been reported. Unless the member event has been reported, we assume 12 months of credited service. Member events must be reported to OMERS. To see if the member is still active, the employer can refer to the Employment tab in the Member Information hyperlink. To see if a member is still active, you can refer to the Employment tab in the Member Information hyperlink. Here, under the OMERS status, you will see if the member is still active in OMERS system. In this example, the member is. To fix this problem, you will need to submit an eForm 143 for termination. You can do so by selecting Requests, Create a New Request, eForm 143. Once the eForm 143 is completed, no eForm 119 is required for the member. You should remove the eForm 119 request from eAccess. The next error that we will look at fires when the service exceeds 12. It will look like this. Error. The service you've reported, including amounts you have already reported for X, exceeds 12. Please correct reported service. There are a few different reasons this error may arise. Incorrect enrollment date, incorrect service reported in the eForm 119, incorrect credited service for reported leave, elimination period, or omission period, or incorrect eligible service top-up for reported leave period, elimination period, or omission period. The first reason we will look at is an incorrectly reported leave. A leave period totaling 10 months has been incorrectly reported for 2017. You are attempting to report 3 months of credited service via the 2017 eForm 119. In order to correct the leave period, you will need to submit an eForm 165C. This will correct the previously reported information. If the leave has been elected or has expired, this option will not be available. In these cases, please send an e-correspondence to OMERS with the updated information. Once corrected, you will see in the eForm 119 request that the leave has been updated. As all service totals 12, you can now proceed. We will now move on to some common warnings you may encounter. This here is the pension adjustment or PA warning. Warning: please review the PA for X. You've reported X. Well, the PA we calculated was X. Please explain the difference or correct the reported PA and amend your records. Some reasons this warning may fire include PA incorrectly entered in the eForm 119. PA does not include statutory leave period, for example, pregnancy parental leaves. PA includes a non-statutory leave period, or the PA does not include a purchased leave period. Example number 1 of this warning firing is, the PA reported in 2017 eForm 119 does not include the PA for a purchased 2017 leave. The problem here is statutory leave periods must be included in the PA calculation unless stated in writing otherwise. Solution. To correct this, you must recalculate the PA and adjust it on the eForm 119. You will also have to revise the member's T4 slip and report the correct PA to the CRA. To review the PA, you can see this in the Financial tab of the individual eForm 119 request. If this is incorrect, you must recalculate and change the value. Remember, OMERS will calculate the PA for your members before February 28th. This will avoid the PA warning if you are able to complete your 119s before this date. After March 1st, please reference the PA calculator online where you will be able to calculate the correct PA. The Form 119 versus Form 143 warnings are comparing the information reported on an eForm 143 to what you are currently reporting on the eForm 119. Most often, when these warnings fire, they will all fire together. An example of this warning is, warning, the contributory earnings reported on the Form 119 exceed what was reported on the Form 143 Notice of Disability. Please explain the difference or correct the Form 119 earnings. The same warning may fire for credited service, RPP contributions, and the PA. Although these warnings may seem overwhelming, as there are many of them, the reasons they fire are usually fairly straightforward. It could be that return to work has not been reported, incorrect information in the eForm 143 to report disability, or incorrect information in the eForm 119. Here we have a member on disability. In many cases, when the exceptions fire that the data on the Form 119 exceeds the data on the Form 143, it means that a member has returned to work in the current Form 119 year. In this example, the member returned to work November 1st. All information for January 1st to June 1st has already been reported to OMERS through the eForm 143, but the 119 must also capture November 1st until the end of the year. Here, you would combine the 143 information with the 119 information. By combining the information, the exceptions will fire saying that the 119 exceeds the 143 information. You will override this with, the member returned to work on X date. When advising OMERS of the member's return to work, it is important that you advise us of the exact date and in what capacity, i.e., regular full-time duties. You also need to make sure to copy and paste the exception message to all warning messages that have fired. Earnings are an important piece of information OMERS requires. Therefore, discrepancies will cause warnings to fire. This is one of two earnings warnings that could fire on the eForm 119. Warning: the annualized earnings for X have decreased by more than X compared to the previous year X. Please explain the difference or correct the reported earnings and/or service. There are many reasons this could fire, including salary decrease or demotion, job reclassification, acting assignment ended, change to lower paying job, standby, on-call, shift premium pay received last year, the earnings reported in the prior year were incorrect earnings in the eForm 119, or no contributory earnings were included. Here the member started a new position during the 2017 calendar year, and the new position was at a much lower rate of pay. While this particular scenario might not be overly common, there are instances where a member moves into a position with higher or lower pay. The system is programmed to flag any year-over-year earnings discrepancies of greater than 20%. Since there are valid reasons why this would occur, OMERS has some pre-programmed override messages that the employer can choose from to override the warning message. In this case, the employer can choose Salary Decrease Demotion and submit. The opposite warning may also fire. Warning: the annualized earnings for X have increased by more than X compared to the previous year. Please explain the difference or correct the report earnings and/or service. Reasons for this are similar to those of salary decrease, including salary increase or promotion, new hire, earnings carry over to next year, carry over earnings from last year, acting assignment started, standby, on-call, shift premium pay received, merit or step increase, job reclassification, incorrect earnings reported in the prior year, incorrect earnings in the eForm 119, retro pay but not allocated to the correct years, or non-contributory earnings included. The problem here is the earnings from 2016 to 2017 have increased by greater than 20%. After reviewing the member's record, it was identified that the 2016 eForm 119 data was incorrect. To resolve this, submit an e-correspondence to provide the correct 2016 information to OMERS. Once changed, you can then proceed with the 2017 eForm 119. Another common reason that the earnings have increased by greater than 20% is because retro information was not correctly reported when the eForm 119 was initiated. In this case, the system is assuming that earnings all fall within 2017 rather than being assigned to the years they pertain. This is because the contributory earnings amount includes the retro pay. To correct this problem, you will need to specify the retro payment details. Include the lump sum incentive payment or performance pay or bonus, including retention bonus, if the pay forms a regular part of the compensation package, and such payments are expected normally to occur each year whether the amount remains the same or if it may vary from year to year. Earnings are reported in the year they are paid. However, if there are retro earnings, they need to be allocated to the years for which the earnings were earned. See Section 3.1.1 Contributory Earnings Defined for more details on this and other contributory earnings types. When this screen appears, the employer will need to populate the earliest start date of the retro period, usually January 1st, and the latest end date, usually December 31st. For example, if the retro paid in 2017 was for 2012, then the start and end dates for the retro periods are January 1st, 2012, and December 31st, 2012. Once the employer has selected Create Details, the year will appear to the right. This is where the employer specifies the exact dollar amounts for each year. Once the details are all entered, the employer can select Return and Save to return to the Form 119. The retro pay details now appear and the eForm 119 can now be submitted. This warning is a little less common, but may fire. Warning: please review the contributory earnings and service for X. You've reported contributory earnings more than X, but no service. Please verify that this is correct. When a member reaches 35 years of service, the employer does not report any additional service or contributions. However, since the member is still working, OMERS will require their earnings. Here the member has 420 months or 35 years of credited service and cannot accrue any more in the plan. This screen does not tell the employer when the member reached the milestone, but the information on the screen is current as of the last eForm 119 that was reported for this member. Depending on when the member reached 35 years of service, different steps are required. If the member reached at the end of the previous year, you will report the contributory earnings and indicate the member reached 35 years in the override reason. If the member reached in the middle of 2017, you will report the contributory earnings for the whole year, and the credited service, contributions, and PA up until the member met the 35 years of credited service. In the override reason, you will tell OMERS the date the member reached 35 years of credited service, and specify the contributory earnings up until the date the member met the 35 years of credited service. The last warnings we will look at today are regarding member contributions. These are the warnings you may see. Warning: please review the RPP contributions for X. You have reported X, while the RPP contributions we calculated were X. Please explain the difference or correct the reported contributions. Warning: please review the RCA contributions for X. You have reported X, while the RCA contributions we calculated were X. Please explain the difference or correct the reported contributions. Reasons these may fire include contributions incorrectly entered on the eForm 119, contributions were incorrectly calculated, RPP contributions include contributions for a leave period, RCA contributions were included with the RPP contributions, or the contributory earnings are incorrect. In this example, the RCA contributions were combined with the RPP contributions in the import file. The solution for this is simple. You must split out the RPP and RCA calculations. These should be tracked and remitted separately throughout the year. In some instances, it may be necessary to adjust previously reported eForm 119 information. If the data is for the current Form 119 reconciliation year, i.e., the year is still open, then the employer can simply create a new eForm 119 request, make the revisions within this request, and submit it to OMERS. The information will override any previously reported data. If, however, the adjustment is to a prior year, the information can be reported to OMERS via e-correspondence. When submitting the information through e-correspondence, make sure to confirm all financials even if they have not changed. Today you have learned the differences between errors and warnings, and how to successfully troubleshoot and resolve exceptions. The Online Employer Administration Manual is somewhat of an encyclopedia of OMERS administration policies and procedures. Anytime you have an administrative question related to OMERS, we recommend that you check the Employer Administration Manual, as you will likely find the answer. Section 8 specifically covers the 119 reporting process. However, the EAM is a great resource for all your OMERS administration. Employer webinars are offered throughout the year to help you with processing your eForms and explaining the theory behind the OMERS administration process. 119 specific webinars will be held throughout November, December, January, and February. E-learning modules provide interactive learning any time of day and provide you with activities and quizzes to help test your knowledge. E-tutoring is available if you are having trouble with processing any tricky eForm requests, along with helping you process your 119s and resolving any exceptions and errors you might be receiving. We're here to help. If you have any questions throughout your eForm 119 reporting, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you.